The Samsung Galaxy S25 FE finally went to the gym and lost some weight. But is all this enough to convince you to pick up the Galaxy S25 FE? Or should you consider that awkward middle child? You've come to the right video, so sit back, relax, and let me tell you everything you need to know. Okay, let's kick things off with the design and the feel in the hand. And I'll definitely tell you that the Galaxy S25 FE here feels premium in the hand. And it now has an enhanced armor aluminum frame, which is the same class of frame that you will find on the S25 and S25 Plus. The phone is thinner too, coming in at just 7.4 millimeters, down from 8 millimeters on the S24 FE, and it's also lighter at 190 grams versus 213 grams on the S24 FE. Who knew that crash dieting worked so well? Now, while the S25 FE looks and feels familiar, the bezels around the screen have been reduced, and this is especially noticeable around the chin, which in my opinion looks so much better than the chin on the S24 FE. And I'll tell you, while on paper that doesn't look or even sound like much, I can tell you that holding it in hand, it definitely feels like much. And this is one of those things that I cannot tell you over the internet. You have to hold it and feel it to believe it. And it's still got that IP68 water and dust resistance, which is great that that is still here. And as for colors, it comes in several colors here, with the first being my favorite, and it's the one that I have here in my hands, which is navy. Next, we have icy blue, jet black, and white. And I'll tell you that this navy color here definitely gives me Galaxy Z Fold 7 vibes. All right, now taking a quick tour around the phone, and on the front, we've got that 6.7 AMOLED Full HD Plus display at 120 Hz. Now, moving on to the right side, you'll find the volume and the power buttons, and on the left side, it's totally clean here. On the bottom, we've got a microphone, a USB-C port, and a SIM card tray that has actually been moved from the top to the bottom. And guess what? Now we're here. At the top, we have another set of microphones, and on the back, we've got a familiar triple camera system. But bonus here now that the back is now matte, which means that it feels so much better. It doesn't act as a grease monkey anymore. And you know what? No two grease monkeys here. Next up is the performance and the thermals. And this year, the S25 FE runs on the Exynos 2400, which is actually, fun fact, the same processor that powered the S24 and S24 Plus in many regions last year. And this year, actually, it also showed up in the Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE. So I'll tell you right now, that Exynos 2400 has been around the block. Now, compared to the S24 FE's Exynos 2400E, that is such a mouth twister, tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. The 2400 here on the S25 FE is higher clocked and a bit more punchier, but that also means that it has slightly higher power draw versus the 2400E from last year. To help with that though, Samsung has increased the cooling here on the S25 FE. That means there's a larger vapor chamber here that's roughly 14% bigger than last year's phone. It also has a new liquid thermal interface material that Samsung says could help sustain even more maximum performance for longer here on the S25 FE. And basically what all of that gobbledygook means is that you can probably use this phone in higher performance for gaming, for more sustained load. And I know you want more sustained load. Don't lie to me. You definitely want more sustained load, don't you? The RAM though, well, same. It's got the same 8 gigabytes as last year. And just like I said last year, I would have really wished to have more RAM here on the S25 FE and, the S24 FE from last year, obviously. So I think that's a missed opportunity here, especially because this is one of those devices you start using it and you're like, wait, I could see myself really pushing the limits here, and you will hit the limits if you are someone who is ambitious enough. For storage options, depending on your region, you can have the 128, 256, 512. So check your local market and let me know, what storage option will you go for? Do you usually go for a base model, or do you go for like the maximum one that you can get? Let me know in the comments down there below. Moving on to battery, and this is where it's not the same. You thought I was going to say the same, didn't you? Well, it's a bit different. So we had 4,500 milliampere on the S23 FE, 4,700 milliampere on the S24 FE, and now on the S25 FE, 4,900 milliampere, which means that extrapolating that, by the time we get to the S27 or S28 FE, we will have 5,600 milliampere. this mats, this mats can never fail. Of course not. The nicer upgrade here, okay, jokes aside, apart from just the incremental update to the battery life, is the charging speed. We finally get 45-watt fast charging or super fast charging 2.0, according to Samsung here on the S25 FE, upgrading from the 25-watt that we had on the S24 FE, and I'm so happy for this. It's not the 100 watts that we get in the Chinese brands, but I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it. Of course, this means you will probably be able to get about 65% in 30 minutes with a compatible charger. And speaking of chargers, for wireless charging here, we now get 15-watt wireless charging with Qi 2 support. Would you believe that? And when you have compatible cases for the S25 FE here, you're able to take advantage of that charging speed. Again, it's not the most mind-blowing in the world, definitely not. But improvements are improvements, and I'm gonna take it. Are you excited for this bump in charging speed? I know I am. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Does it actually matter to you or not? Next, let's talk about cameras. We have to talk about cameras. And much like last year, the recipe for the cameras remained the same, which has actually been a broader theme in Samsung's strategy. We saw that on the S24 Ultra to the S25 Ultra, the Galaxy A55 to the Galaxy A56, and now the Galaxy S24 FE to the Galaxy S25 FE, which means we are getting the same 50 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 8 megapixel telephoto. And as a camera enthusiast, I was at least hoping for a better telephoto, because the telephoto camera on the S24 FE, while I liked the field of view, it could struggle quite a bit, especially in low light. And it was just a little bit of a shame that that was not improved. I don't even care if no other camera on the phone is improved, but give me better telephoto, Samsung, come on. The selfie camera, however, got improved. It now has a more resolution, 12 megapixels, and a more wider field of view, so you can get even more people on the frame at the same time, which is great for people who like to take selfies. I like to take selfies, but I like a telephoto camera better. Come on, I'm not going to move on, okay? Please give us better telephoto cameras, Samsung. But going back to that selfie camera, it's now got, even better resolution. I think it's the same selfie camera as the one on the S25. So if you really like selfies, you are going to be getting a good deal here on the S25 FE. And when it comes to video, it still has the ability to record 8K 30 frames per second video, which is a shame because it only supports that on the main camera. At UHD 4K, you can record up to 60 frames per second, but again, it locks you to just 1x and 2x, which is a crop of the 1x. And to be able to get access to all of the cameras in UHD, you have to drop down to 30 frames per second. I really hoped that was improved this year, but that limitation sadly is still here on the S25 FE. Now, there are three constants in life. It is debt, it is taxes, and Galaxy AI. And of course, one of the huge selling points of the Galaxy S25 FE right here is that you get the full Galaxy AI experience. There's nothing locked behind anything here. You get everything here: transcript assist, note assist, circle to search, circle to give me money in my Patreon or in my memberships here on YouTube. What? That doesn't exist? Well, make it exist, okay? But you get all of the Galaxy AI features here on the Galaxy S25 FE, which is one of the major value adds that separates this from, for example, the A series. Now, of course, there's that dedicated Galaxy AI section in the settings where you can go and check out all of the AI features that are included on this phone, which I also think it comes with 6 months of free Google AI Pro. Now, that depends on your region. It might be there, it might not be there, but that's also nice to see that that is included here on the phone. So you get Gemini and you get some of the best models and context windows that is out there right now. And lastly, let's talk about software. Now, the Galaxy S25 FE, fun fact, is the first S device to actually ship with One UI 8. You got that right, because the Z Fold and Z Flip are Z devices, not S devices. So you get One UI 8 here based on Android 16 on the S25 FE, and you also get 7 years of both OS and security updates, which I think is the killer feature that Samsung and not a lot of brands do, which is a major differentiator for if you're getting this for the long haul. So after all this, where does the Galaxy S25 FE sit within Samsung's lineup? And if you're comparing it to the S25 or the S25 Plus, for example, the S25 FE here has a lower price. It has Galaxy AI. It even has a bigger display than the base S25, 45-watt charging, and of course, it's got that 7 years of software upgrades. I recommend you skip it if you want that Snapdragon performance, which you only get on the S25 main line, and generally stronger cameras that you're definitely going to be getting on the main S25 line. Now, versus the S24 FE from last year, this S25 FE is definitely thinner and lighter. It's got a bigger battery, 45-watt fast charging, larger vapor cooling chamber, 12 megapixel camera, but it's also got so many things that are the same, such as the rear cameras, the display size, that puny little 8 gigabytes of RAM. So if you can get like a really good deal, the S24 FE might be still one you should pick up, definitely. But if it's super close in price, then I would always advocate you get the most recent phone, especially because of that matte back that looks so good. I know you might put a case on it, you probably put a case on it, but it looks so good. Come on, just use it as it's meant to be used, man. And versus something like, say, the Galaxy A56 right here, so the A series, that I've always held this A56 as the pinnacle of like a very thin and light and very premium phone to hold in the hand. And the S25 FE does all of this, but much better with much better performance. So yeah, if you're performance oriented and also like just good design and solid feel in hand while still remaining thinner and lighter, then the S25 FE, I would say, has my vote over the A56. Only consider this if you definitely don't have the money to step up to the S25 FE right here. You might want to consider maybe the S24 FE, but the A56 is also not bad. Okay, it has that really, really bad macro camera, but other than that macro camera, which we do not acknowledge, it's still a great phone, and if you're budget constrained, it might be something for you to consider. Overall, I would say my first impressions is definitely the build quality. I held it and I was like, whoa, this is really nice, especially because it still remains premium while being thinner, lighter, smaller bezels. And while the processor might be a bit underwhelming, especially if you are someone like me who wants the latest and the greatest, to be fair, except you are in that 10% of the population that will extremely push your phone, you might not even hit the limits here on the S25 FE. The limits I did and I'm still worried about, and I will continue to remain worried about until something changes, is that 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think it's not enough. I really think it's overdue for an update, especially because it's been on 8 gig for a while. But at least we get faster charging, we get 45 watts and a bigger battery and a bigger vapor cooling chamber. So those bigger things, I think, maybe balance out the not so bigger things, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know. If it makes sense, let me know in the comments down there. And if you care about cameras, well, this might be one where you really have to try it out, because I've been someone who has doubted that, oh, it's the same camera, it will perform the same, but I've been shocked over and over again. So I would have to give you in my dedicated camera test. I'll be coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Now, moving on to the most important part of this video. Is the S25 FE for you? And while the latest and greatest and shiniest thing might be what we are all pushed to, if this is out of your budget range, then there are many other phones, especially in the Samsung's line, if you're trying to stay in the family, that can fulfill what this does at maybe even lower prices, like the S25, maybe it has come down in price, or the wonderful A56, which I really love, or even the S24 FE from last year are still great options there. And next are the upgrades. Now, it's gotten upgrades in, I think, a few key areas, and if that's something that means something to you, like it's lighter, it's thinner, which it really is, you really have to hold it to understand what I mean. I'm not kidding, seriously. Hold it. If you care about that premium feel, something that is at a mid-range price, or even, it depends on the country you are in. In some countries it's mid-range, in some countries it's still a flagship price. So it really depends on your country. So let me know, what are the prices in your country? Is this something you consider mid-range in your country, or a mid-range flagship, or a flagship? Depends on where you are. It might be a great deal if you're in a place that you can actually get it for like a great deal. So all right, I'm done. That has been my first extensive hands-on and comprehensive sort of deep dive with the S25 FE. I have so many videos queued, some comparisons with other phones in the Galaxy family, some with non-Galaxy devices. So please, again, make sure you subscribe for that. If you want to support me here on Geekception, whether it's via Patreon, becoming a member here on YouTube, buying me a cup of coffee, all of those things will go a long way, and I'll really appreciate it. And even more important than that, text me when you get home so I know you got home safe, and watch out for Tapir because they are bigger than they appear. I'll catch you in the next one. I've been a Captain of Awesome. This is Geekception. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Now, this video has been in my drafts for quite a while, probably because my wife got sick for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We went to the hospital like 5 times. So it was not a fun time at all. And I'm just getting back to all of my backlog of all the videos that I already have. And since you are here, I just got something that I'm very, very excited about, which is this, the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. Look at how this, like how big this boy is. This is a massive boy. So I have it on my review table here where I've just set up, and I just want to shoot the unboxing because I'm just so excited to get into it. I've used big tabs before. I have the Tab S10 FE Plus, but I've not used something as big as this, and I literally cannot wait. So big like this, hashtag big like this, leave that in your comments. So I know you made it all the way to the end of the video, but please tell me, what are you excited about today? What are some of the things you are looking forward to? Please share them with me so I can get in your joy as well, just as you've shared my joy. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to stay awesome. All right, bye.